starting in just a few minutes. Thanks for arriving early. We'll be starting in just a few minutes. Go ahead and get started here on today's stream. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Lewis with Media Garcia. Thanks for tuning in to our live stream on lead scoring. So it's a topic that I've been going into quite a bit lately with our portfolio of clients, and I'm excited to be able to come here to LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube to share my experiences and thoughts and expertise on setting up an effective lead scoring system for your business. And so the topic of today will be lead scoring and the importance of lead scoring for driving sales and marketing alignment. So we'll be looking at the strategic process that goes into it, but we're also going to lean on our community and AI for insights and resources. So that means we'll spend some time in the stream here today looking more broadly and just doing some searches on what comes up when we look for lead scoring best practices, what's happening in different spaces around lead scoring, different industries around lead scoring, and leveraging those community resources, whether they might be forums, they might be templates, checklists, all that kind of good stuff, as well as leveraging AI to guide us on our lead scoring journey. And of course, I'll bring my own expertise and thoughts into the mix as well. But I am I don't claim to be a self-proclaimed expert on really anything, because everything always changes and evolves. And so we always have to be learning in this space. And that's why I like to lean on the resources in the community during these streams to show that I'm not the only one with the answers, folks. Sorry to say it, but there are lots of answers out there for us to get, and there's best practices for us to follow, and that's where we can have control and some direction on all of this. So that's what we'll do. We're also going to introduce a couple of thematic segments in today's stream, including growth segments. So from time to time, you might see a icon like this show up. This is our first thematic segment, which is a growth gem, meaning any type of quick tip or strategy that kind of strikes us and pops out to us, we're going to give it the growth gem, right? And that's all part of the game plan, which is another thematic segment. This is about building a practical framework, around what we do. So when we plan our work, and work the plan, we move towards our goals. And so that is what we intend to do here today. We're going to introduce those thematic segments right now. What is the game plan? Well, the game plan is to go through our agenda. So that's what I'm doing right now, folks. After we get through this, we'll go through the fundamentals of lead scoring, which will include just what is lead scoring at a high level. We'll talk about different types of lead scoring models, probably what's involved in it, like explicit criterias, implicit criterias, scoring ranges, mistakes to avoid. And after that, we'll kind of go through different growth gems, right? So let's bring our gems back up, and we'll look at what kind of tips and strategies we can create so that we can do things like collaborate with sales teams to define qualified leads, or use automation tools like HubSpot or Salesforce to scale lead scoring. And we can also use AI live to suggest top lead scoring strategies. So of course we're going to bring GPT into the mix to see what kind of results we get from that. After we work through some of those items, we'll start building a framework of what our ideal customer profile is and introduce the ICP, or some folks might call it buyer persona. And then it goes by lots of different names. We'll also prioritize lead scoring criteria and test and refine our model and go through different live examples. Now, this is a series of videos that we'll do. So this first part will probably be just a lot more just fundamentals and collecting information at this time. We'll probably get more hands-on and into different tools like HubSpot and different streams. We may do it this time, but chances are we'll do that in one of our follow-up streams, because we'll see how much time we take in just building the fundamentals and getting grounded in all this stuff. After that, we'll look at what kind of guides and templates and what we have in the community that we can lean on, and then we'll wrap up. So that's what we have here for today, folks. And as always, please do feel free to leave your comments and the chat. Again, we're streaming across multiple platforms: YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch. And do like and subscribe and follow us and share so that we can get this information out there and help businesses become more efficient around lead scoring. So let's get my mic up a little bit more, maybe. Okay, maybe a little bit more. That should work. All right, so let's get into the fundamentals of lead scoring. And first, I'll just talk through it, and then let's pull up some resources and best practices around it. Okay. So lead scoring is a way for companies oftentimes to prioritize leads inside their CRM. It helps them increase efficiency and improve on their conversion rates. Whether you're new to it or just need a refresher, this section will lay out the groundwork for building a solid strategy that aligns with your sales and marketing efforts. So what exactly is lead scoring? Lead scoring is the process of assigning a numerical value or score to leads based on how well they align with your ideal customer profile or buyer persona. Typically, this encompasses demographic data and firmographic data, which will describe the person and the company they belong to, as well as how they've engaged with your brand, which will include behavioral data. So you might be asking yourself, well, why does this matter? Well, it helps your sales and marketing teams prioritize the right leads, the ones that are most likely to convert. It's a huge time saver. Plus, it improves efficiency by focusing your resources on high value prospects. For example, imagine you're running a campaign and 1,000 people sign up for your webinar. Without lead scoring, your team might waste time chasing the wrong people. With lead scoring, you know which leads are hot and worth pursuing immediately. So that is the fundamentals of why lead scoring matters and how it's important. Now we're going to go into different components of the lead scoring model. So let's pull up a slide here. And I'll get something shared on screen here in just a moment. All right, we have lots of good resources here for lead scoring. Let's get our share going here. So I just did a quick search in Google around lead scoring, and I'll make this a little larger so everyone can read, follow along. And I just pulled up some of the top results that I found. Let's actually use our reading widget to dictate these results back to us here. We'll get our background music down too. Gotta update my audio ducking so that happens more automatically. All right, so we're gonna listen to a couple of definitions here on lead scoring, and we'll use it in the tone of Snoop Dogg. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to share my audio on this. 1 second. All right, I think we're ready now for the definition.
What is lead scoring? Lead scoring is an objective ranking of one sales lead against another. It not only helps align the right follow-up to the corresponding inquiry, it also helps marketing and sales professionals identify where each prospect is in the buying process. The process of defining lead scores improves alignment and collaboration between marketing and sales teams.
Okay. So it's a objective ranking, which oftentimes, it just is it's objective because we're setting different types of requirements, specific requirements, like, is this contact from the United States? If they are, then give them 10 points. If they're not, then don't give them 10 points. It could be as simple as that. And so it's an objective ranking of one sales lead against another. So the purpose of it is to help you prioritize, right? So the scoring allows us to compare leads and come up with an objective idea on which one might be a higher priority to work with compared to another. Let's hear about the process of defining lead scores, Snoop Dogg.
After all, by jointly establishing an objective definition of a quality lead, sales and marketing can exchange better feedback on the quality of leads being passed to sales. Plus, lead scoring helps ensure that the best leads are followed up on immediately by prioritizing leads according to revenue potential and buyer readiness.
Okay, perfect. So with lead scoring, we can get better information on which leads are being passed to sales. So a common use for lead scoring is to mark when a lead has obtained a marketing qualified lead lifecycle stage. So the marketing team has all these different campaigns running and different, they might have ads and landing pages and offers and forms, and you can set up a lead scoring system that will take all that engagement information and assign a numeric value to that lead. And with that, we're able then to see, you're able to trigger perhaps a life cycle stage in that contact. And you could say something like, when a contact has come in on an ad and filled out the form and visited our blog, give them a score of 80, which might be a high score. Again, it's kind of arbitrary at this point, but let's just say 80 is a high score in this case. With that, you could say, okay, this lead is now a marketing qualified lead. Send it to the sales team and have them work that particular lead. This helps put a line of demarcation on which leads are worth and worthy, of the sales team to focus on, and which ones should they wait to reach out to, and perhaps have marketing continue to nurture to the point that they become a qualified lead. All right, so this is a definition that we've heard so far from Oracle. Let's see what Wikipedia has to say in its definition of lead scoring. Take it away, Snoop.
Lead scoring is a methodology used to rank prospects against a scale that represents the perceived value each lead represents to the organization. 1. The resulting score is used to determine which leads are receiving function. For example, sales, partners, teleprospecting will engage in order of priority.
All right. So what kind of stands out for me here in this example is actually the last words around the order of priority. So again, it's about developing a scoring system that we're able to assign to our contacts, which gives us the ability to prioritize and give order to the importance of which leads should require follow-up with. All right, let's see what's next.
Lead scoring models incorporate both explicit and implicit data. Explicit data is provided by or about the prospect, for example, company size, industry segment, job title, or geographic location. 2. Implicit scores are derived from monitoring prospect behavior. Examples of these include website visits, white paper downloads, or email opens and clicks. 3-4. Additionally, social scores analyze a person's presence and activities on social networks.
Okay. And I think we got a little bit of that information in the introduction of this topic, where we explained that there is different explicit data and implicit information. Explicit data including things that are about the prospect or company that they belong to, and this stuff is, like information like their job title. It'd be their company size, industry segment. These examples here are all great examples. Implicit scores are going to be derived from monitoring their behaviors. So this can be information like website visits, what they've downloaded, emails, opens, and clicks, and other behavioral information. All right, let's finish off the definition here.
Lead scoring allows a business to customize a prospect's experience based on his or her buying stage and interest level, and greatly improves the quality and readiness of leads that are delivered to sales organizations for follow-up. Key benefits. When a lead scoring model is effective...
We won't get into the key benefits yet. But yeah, that's a good definition here from Wiki. Let's hear the definition from ActiveCampaign.
Lead scoring is an effective way to track contacts, engagements, creating a temperature gauge to plan future messaging and targeted sales outreach.
Okay. So far, this definition it's a bit different than the others. The track engagement, yes, creating a temperature gauge to plan future messaging. Okay. And targeted sales outreach. Good. Got it. And let's hear one more definition here. This one's from Salesforce. Let's try that again.
Lead scoring and lead grading are two commonly used techniques to qualify leads. That is, to determine if a lead is worth passing from your marketing team on its sales.
All right. Pretty straightforward. And actually, we probably will do one more here. Let's bring on our resources from HubSpot. Media Garcia is a platinum HubSpot solution partner, and we've been working on the HubSpot platform for over 8 years and are experts in the tool. So if you're looking to set up your own lead scoring and are looking for support from a company of experts, then you reach out to us at mediagarcia.com. All right, here's the definition from HubSpot.
Lead scoring is the process of assigning values, often in the form of numerical points, to each lead you generate to evaluate the likelihood of them becoming a customer.
Okay. So this one talks about the likelihood. So HubSpot talks about likelihood of being a customer, which can be another great use case of lead scoring. There's a lot of different ways to use lead scoring. It can be to determine when to pass a lead to sales, to determine likelihood of becoming a customer. Let's continue to listen to this.
You can score your leads based on multiple attributes, including the professional information they've submitted to you and how they've engaged with your website and brand across the internet. This process helps sales and marketing teams prioritize leads, respond to them appropriately, and increase the rate at which those leads become customers. Learn more about the concept of lead scoring in the video below.
Meet lead scoring. All right, let's do it.
With inbound marketing, you're able to attract a high volume of leads. The challenge then becomes, which of those leads are most likely to convert into paying customers? The thing is, not all leads are created equal. Only 10% typically convert into customers, so you need a scalable way to get in touch with the right prospects fast. Meet lead scoring. Lead scoring is the process of assigning a value to each lead so your sales team can prioritize outreach. Here's how it works. First, you'll need to determine the lead to customer conversion rate for all of your leads. This is your benchmark. Then, examine different attributes to determine what makes someone more likely to become a customer. This includes things like location, business size, or behavioral data, like how many times a prospect views your pricing page. Finally, compare the close rate of customers with each attribute. The higher the close rate, the more points you award. You probably get the idea. Lead scoring is complicated, and it can be based on inaccurate assumptions. Thankfully, marketing and sales tools automate the process using predictive models. And with the help of machine learning and artificial intelligence, software is getting better at finding patterns and recalibrating based on the most recent prospect data. With HubSpot, you can spend less time guessing and more time selling. Learn more about predictive lead scoring at HubSpot.com.
Great. I really liked how that video talks about the use of predictive lead scoring and AI modeling around lead scoring. So right now, and at least, up until all these AI enhancements that have been made over the last couple of years, lead scoring oftentimes was a manual process, or quite manual, depending on how complex you would make it. And I've seen hundreds of different lead scoring models. Some are very simple and efficient, and some very complicated, and where there might even be a score of scores, or one score, which is companies that use 5 different scoring models and then try to pull them all together into like one mega score, right? And there's advantages and disadvantages to all those different models and the complexity of them. But the good thing to hear about from that video, though, is that there is AI and tools, right? Like HubSpot, and there's lots of lead scoring tools, not even HubSpot alone, but there are lots of lead scoring tools that can help solve these types of problems for small businesses. You might be asking yourself, what kind of information typically shows up in a lead scoring model? And let's just scan through here on HubSpot to see what we typically find. So first would be demographic information. That is an absolute. Oh, look, we got a template. I like templates, so let's actually get this one. And got our first lead scoring template to walk through here in a moment. I've actually worked with this one quite a bit, so but that is how you can get a template through HubSpot. So thoughtful to include that. And what else we have here? Company information, behavioral information. We've hit on this as well. Oh, look at this. We have another video. Let's check this one out.
Often forms notify a manager or sales rep, but then the lead spends the rest of its days in an inbox, or even worse, someone's spreadsheet. With HubSpot's AI-assisted lead management software and our CRM, which you can use for free, the lead gets added to a centralized database where the success dashboards are a great way to get a glimpse at what's going on in your CRM, but we can help you find those hot leads a little faster using lead scoring. Lead scoring allows you to find hot leads based on their activities. To get to the lead scoring property, you'd want to go to Settings, Properties, and under Contact Properties, we're going to search for HubSpot Score. Now this property is special because we can add or lower their score based on how they interact with the brand. In these cases, I've set up that if they have a closed won deal, they get 100 points. However, if they have a closed loss deal, they lose 100 points. But we can also get more granular. For instance, the date of their first engagement with us. We can talk about if they come in from a specific channel that has a higher conversion rate, give that a more high score. If you find that there are actions that good fit customers take more than the average person, you can add that to their lead score and help you find them and reach them. Now that we have a quantifiable metric to help us identify good fit customers, we can segment them using lists. So in contacts,
we're going to go. So Devin from HubSpot employee, just talked through, and thank you, Devin, for making that video. Very excellent. Talked about lead scoring, the value of it, showed even some examples inside the HubSpot tool, how you would set up a criteria to add points or remove points based on different things. And it can be very broad level things. And it also can be very granular level things for almost any of the data that is being collected inside HubSpot. And frankly, for probably any CRM for that matter, can be drilled in on for lead scoring. Now, there are usually just a few fields that are like best practice. And so, we'll get into more of the specifics on what to set up and maybe what to avoid when working on your lead scoring. And what Devin was just about to get into was list segmentation. So one thing that can happen after you have lead scoring set up is opens up the opportunity to create lists based on the different types of scores. So that way you can create scores for your contacts that are high scoring, maybe mid-range scoring, or low scoring, or even things like negative scoring, right? So it just allows for more possibilities in the types of lists that we're creating. It's a really great resource, and let's continue on here. So we talked about email engagement. That's a granular piece. Social media engagement, that would be definitely another granular piece that we would expect to see set up from lead scoring. And this is a neat graphic here around where do the highest quality leads come from. So this says HubSpot blog research sales trends report global survey of 1,477 sales professionals in July 2023. So this says 33% came from referrals from existing customers, another 33% from social media, 25% from email marketing, 19% from telemarketing, 18% from website blog SEO. So how this could potentially relate to lead scoring is we can use this information to determine and to like give higher value to where the higher quality leads come from. So if a lead comes in and they are tagged as a referral from an existing customer, well, you could give that contact a higher lead score than someone who came in, say, through the website or through a blog or SEO. And by knowing what drives a high quality lead, lead scoring allows you to really just reverse engineer what is the more high quality leads. But first you have to have the data, and you have to have had tracked it and make sure that everything is good around that. But once you have the data around what is a high quality lead, what's a high quality customer, then we can, and if we have enough of those to sample and say, okay, well, we notice that your highest valued customers are coming from social media, and oh, it's actually a social media ad that talks about this topic, right? Then as you get more leads from those campaigns around that topic, then you're able to assign a higher quality lead score to those, and thereby prioritizing those leads compared to other potential leads that are coming into your system. All right, and we got this really fancy spreadsheet that we'll walk through in a little bit. This is a very robust pillar page of information on lead scoring, and I'm just doing a quick scan just to see what it all has. We have another infographic. Sales pros will leverage AI to boost performance. Okay, leverage AI machine learning. Okay, I'm not gonna dive into that. All right, so let's look at this template for lead scoring. So this is going to be an example on lead scoring, and let's click on the explicit data. So you know that this particular spreadsheet is separated into explicit data, implicit data, and then there's this calculator on this page. And how you would set up this particular worksheet is you'd first determine what are your for explicit data, what are the demographic pieces of information you want to score on, and what are the firmographic pieces of information you want to score on. And so we have an example that's already laid out here. It just so happens that this example also adds up to 100 points in both cases. So if I like change my score here and I'm like, you know what, job title actually really important to me. Now we need to be a bit more specific. We can't just say job title. This is a big score for us. Say if I wanted to keep everything at 100 points, I might need to take points away from something. As you can see here, this was originally at 15. So let's say I want to bump this up to 25, and maybe career interests isn't important to me, or like years in current position. Maybe these items aren't important, right? This spreadsheet is meant to be customized, folks, so you can feel free to update it, and you could say, a job title's maybe job title's the biggest thing for me, right? And then I do want to talk to the purchasing authority, and their industry is also another important thing. And lastly, certifications there. Now we're back up to 100. And there might be different firmographic information, so information about the company. In this case, we have like number of employees, industry, annual revenue, average sales cycle, etc. Right? And you can add more, or you could delete if you want. And after you would fill out this spreadsheet, we'll go to the implicit tab. Now, implicit tab is going to have information that is from our analytics. That's from our tracking. So one, there needs to be tracking in place for this to happen. So there are tools including HubSpot and other pixel tools that will track user engagement on your site or across your campaigns. So here's another example. This one shows a max score of 100 on behaviors, which is on the positive score. But there's also another one for behaviors on the negative side. So you can use lead scoring to give points and also take away points. And we can see that the ones that give points there's quite a few ones here, but we can look at like a landing page. If they looked at one, it's 5. If they converted, it's 10. Note that these scores tend to stack. So if someone views and converts, they would get these 15 points. There's also like use of the chat functionality, which gives another 10, a request for callback. And again, just like the other one, you can adjust this. And, I could say that, if someone requests for me to call them, perhaps that's really important to me. And I would want to get back to them as quickly as possible. But to keep things tidy, it is nice to have everything add up to 100 because a 100-point scale for lead scoring just is intuitively will make more sense. The problem sometimes with lead scoring that I've seen when it's not normalized to a 100-point scale is that you'll like add or remove factors to your lead score, but it will increase or decrease the like total possible amount of points. So for example, if I said, I really want to value this request for callback and I want to give that 100 points. Well, now the behaviors is 170. So this individual attribute all of a sudden gains, so much more compared to everything else, especially like, one request for callback is worth way more than demographics and even some firmographic data, right? And that could skew and kind of distort the model in a way when the maximum amount of points change over time, because you're going to always, because you might become used to saying things like, oh yeah, we do a lead score of 50. 50 is an MQL. Well, if all of a sudden you start changing numbers here and then I change this down to 20, then the scaling might be thrown off and 50 might be too aggressive. Or if you give too many points, maybe 50 becomes too conservative. So that's where normalizing for like a 100-point scale, and we'll see how the calculator does it here, becomes very helpful. All right, so look at this next tab here. This shows the different demographic, firmographic, and behavioral pieces that we've already looked at. And it shows what the max score for that category is. This information is actually looking up that piece of data that we've set here. So whatever max score we set in these columns becomes the max score that shows up here. So, and then we make notes. So with job title, we can see that there's the max score of 50. And we would want to list out potentially what would be the different things that would add up to 50. So like in this case, if the max score is 50 and I was talking to a chief marketing officer at that company, I might say the chief marketing officer is exactly the person I want to talk to. So that is actually worth 50 points to me. Now because of that, so it's getting all the points possible for this particular lead score. And oh yeah, we zeroed out a couple of these things, I think. So let me clean these up. All right, that looks good. So we might say chief marketing officer, that's their title. What else did we keep from explicit? So we have job title and these 3 things. Let me bring those into our calculator. And then I'm going to delete everything else. Purchasing authority. Does the CMO have purchasing authority? Typically. I might say, this one was, how much was this one worth? The purchasing authority was 20, and then the other ones were 15. Let's go back here. The max score of this was 20, and these ones were 15. And so if someone has purchasing authority, I'd say, yeah, that's, you get the points, right? If it's like a yes/no situation, then yes usually means you get all the points. No means you don't get the points. Industry, field of expertise. Let's just say that this is in SaaS. We'll call it SaaS. And I love working with SaaS companies, so I'm going to give that a 15 out of a max score of 15. Designation, I'm not going to worry about designation. We're just going to do these 3 for now. And we'll break it out like that. So we have three demographic pieces of information we care about: job title, purchasing authority, industry. The industry could even be a firmographic piece. Let me see if it is. Yeah, it's here. So I might not even care about industry at the, actually I wouldn't at the demographic level. We'll do it at the firmographic level. Maybe here we'll just call it job title max score 75. This is kind of, it's overly simplified, but I'm just doing it to illustrate the point. And max score here is 25. So chief marketing officer, purchase authority, yes, that's perfect. Okay, now let's move on to firmographic information. So we have number of employees. All right, let's see what are we going to keep here from ours. We're going to overly simplify this too. And founded. Let's just do these three. We keep from this one, just okay. So for firmographic, let's score number of employees, industry, and revenue. Which we have here. All right. Number of employees, and what was the breakout of score? Let's give industry a high score, and employee count and revenue equal. Okay, that's how this one is. All right. So the industry, software and technology, like I said earlier, love working with SaaS and tech. So we're going to give that the most points. And maybe this 250 to 500 employee count business is ideal for us because we like to look at, we like to work with mid-cap companies that have, you know, hundreds of employees, annual revenue over 25 million. Again, I'm going to say that's full points too. I'm going to create the most ideal lead for us, and then we'll create a couple of different versions of leads and adjust the scores and see how that works. Now for the implicit data, I'm gonna probably just simplify this a heck of a lot, so it is quick for us to kind of work through. Okay, good. So I'm going to keep these, what is this, 6? The view, landing page view and conversion, request for callback, view to the pricing page, email open and click. Those ones seem just like the most crucial ones to keep. So we got 2, 4, 6. We'll need to do about, do 5 for this, 15 for that. That can stay 30, 10. All right, still have 20 points to use. So let's go more on the email click. A little more on that. All right, now we're at 100 points with these 5 factors. And then there's some negative ones, including website viewed a non-product page, no activity. So this would be kind of like a time decay. An unsubscribe, or I also lump like hard bounces and all that kind of stuff into it for now. But let's just make this super simple. If they've unsubscribed from email, all that just like a negative 20 for now. Okay, let's build out these items then. Copy this list for reference. I think we kept. Did not use the. One, two, three, four, five, six. All right, those are the 6 we kept. Then we just kept the email and subscribe from this. Okay. All right, and we need to update our scores on this model. So we had 5, 20, 35, 15, 5, 20. Okay, those actually carried over. Again, I'm gonna say this is we're gonna model this person as the best example and say that they did view the landing page, that they converted, that they did ask for a callback, they looked at the pricing page, they opened and they clicked the email, right? They did all those things because if we position this as like yes, no, then we give it all the points. And there we go. So we have this contact as their score is now, you know, out of this section. This was the firm score. We'll call it for the firm score. This one's the behavioral score. And this one was the demographic score. And if in this case they didn't unsubscribe, but if they did, then they would be a -20 on that. Excuse me. So now we have the scores. This is the perfect, most ideal prospect lead that we could ever get because they were the CMO with purchasing authority at a mid-cap SaaS company generating more than 2 million. And they came in, they filled out a landing page form, they converted, they requested a call back, they looked at the pricing page, and they opened and clicked our emails, and they didn't unsubscribe from them, right? So they got the total 300 points out of the 300 possible across these 3 different groupings, which is a normalized score of 100, you know, because we kept everything at that 100 scale. So as a result, it doesn't actually have to be, well, it gets normalized by looking at the total score across all sections and then dividing it by the max possible, which was in this case set at 300. All right, so that's how one example of lead scoring works within this particular document, but let's go ahead and take a look at another example. Let's say this lead is a marketing analyst at a automotive company, and they filled out a form but did nothing else. And for context, you know, we do work with marketers, but maybe in this case, let's just say like automotive wasn't really our focus. Let's see what happens. Let's see what score they get. So instead of this perfect scoring premium prospect, you know, we now have, let's just say, a marketing analyst. And because, and we'll say, you know, people who are on marketing teams, but maybe not like in a manager role or a C-level role, let's just say we go in 25 points out of the total. Do they have purchasing authority? No. So now this demographic score just went from that perfect 100 score to a 25. Let's see here, and this max score is going to be 100. All right, good. Now let's look at the firmographics. Let's actually add to it and say that this automotive is it's like a very small automotive company. So they actually are they're like mom and pop size. And it's like the owner's niece who's the marketing analyst on the team, right? So the number of employees 1 to 10. So before we gave a perfect score on number of employees for that mid-cap company that had that 300 employees. You know, with this 1 to 10, we might say, not enough, right? Like this, like our solution isn't a good fit, right? So we might say something even like a 0 because of that. Industry, well, we said this was an automotive. And you know what? While we do work with automotive in this example, maybe this one isn't the perfect one. So we'll give it half points. We'll put it at 25. And then their annual revenue, maybe they actually make more than the 2 million that the other company was making. They're at 10 million. Which they have 200 employees. I mean, that one other company would have to have way more than 2 million. So that example is probably not great to begin with. But, you know, if this is a 10 million or this is a 10-person company, automotive, let's go 8 million. All right. And let's just say, well, before we gave the full points for over 2 million. So we'll give the full points now for this one. That's fine. Okay, and then we said that they viewed the landing page, they converted on it, but they didn't request a callback, so we can do a no for that. They didn't look at pricing. Let's do another no there. And they haven't interacted with their email. So if we zero out all these, now our behavioral score is a 25. Let's see, did they unsubscribe? No. Let's say they haven't done that yet. Now we can see that they have a normalized score of 33.33%. So this contact would, you know, in comparison to the other example that we just ran through a couple of minutes ago, you know, you would want to prioritize the other contact because that one had a score of 100%, whereas this one has a score of 33%. So that's just a, you know, high level example on how lead scoring can help your business. So what's the growth gem from this, you ask? Well, I think the big piece that I'm taking away, I want to impart on everyone here, is this like normalized score. It's going to be very helpful to have a score that is normalized on a 100-point scale, or at least based on, you know, it's going to be based on the total maximum of points allowed. So it's important to know what's your total range of score, because if you don't normalize it to a 100-point scale, then we can just generally we'll just assign a lot of arbitrary values to things and just keep adding. Before you know it, you could have a lead score with thousands of points, but if the total range is tens of thousands, then it might seem like a high score, but it's actually in relationship to total range of possibility, it might not be. And so you're going to want to know what the total range is. Normalizing it to 100 and 100% makes it easier to not only keep everything within a range, but then also to communicate the relative distance to things across each other. If you're always trying to compare things while also moving the field goal posts or while moving the ranges, then it's gonna be like really difficult to say was a score of 30 back then valuable or not compared to what it is now, because we've changed all the factors, right? And so understanding the fluctuations and that changes to lead scoring can cause these things to happen. It's just something to keep your eye on. That's your growth gem. All right, what do we got next on the game plan? Let's find out. So today we were talking about defining your ideal customer profile, and we did that a little bit. I didn't go into it super deep here, but we gave an example on two, you know, different ideal customer profiles or buyer personas. One was that, you know, chief marketing officer. The other one was this marketing analyst. So those are examples of different buyer personas or ICPs, ideal customer profiles, that would be created to come up with these lead scoring systems. So in order to do that, you're going to want to build out these buyer personas, and to do that, you're going to use like you can use a make my persona actually as an example. So let's do that. It's another great tool offered by none other than HubSpot. And what we can do is we click, go to hubspot.com/make-my-persona. I'll throw it in chat, don't worry. Give me a second here. All right. And from here, you can click on build my persona. And what is this? Email it to myself for later. What? Create a buyer persona that your entire company can use. Can I do this or no? What's going on? Let's see. Let's try that again. Okay, I'm not sure what that was all about, but now I'm in. And I might have been too zoomed in, so it might have thought I was on a mobile device. That's like the only thing I could think about. So this buyer persona is, again, well, let's see here. Why is this step important? We want to create our avatar. Why do we want to create an avatar, Snoop?
Why is this step important? Start by choosing a name to humanize your buyer persona. Both the name and the avatar you select will help you start thinking about this persona like a real person. Pro tip, consider naming your buyer persona with their industry in mind to make it easier to remember, like Marketing Mary or Finance Frat.
Pro tip, or otherwise known as a growth gem. So yeah, we give our buyer personas names to humanize them. So we want to make them after someone, right? You don't want to have it be broad or general. You really want to think about who is that person that we really want to target. So in this case, let's build out a buyer persona. I'm going to build out some prompts to these, but we're going to bring in, I think this is a good chance. I think let's talk about the game plan on this. I think we bring in ChatGPT to help us do this. So I'm going to bring in AI for a second here. All right. That's the game plan. Oh, you know what? Let me get up my prompt structure that I've been working on. All right. So we're going to try that, or not try, but we're going to do the tag structure for prompting ChatGPT, which will be establishing the task, which stands for T. And then A is the action needed to complete it. And then G is going to be the goal. So I'm just going to kind of riff a open stream of conscious while giving this instruction. I would like for you to create a buyer persona. Rather, we will be using HubSpot's make a persona tool, where it's going to prompt us to fill in various prompts. The first is going to be naming our persona. The goal is to create a persona for our company which is a small manufacturer that sells to chief marketing officers with purchasing authority at SaaS and tech companies, generating more than 2 million. We also work with these secondary industries, healthcare and finance. We can also work with companies that are generating between 1 and 2 million, but they are not as valuable as over 2 million. These chief marketing officers typically want to see lead generation increase. And they struggle with knowing the right tools to use and metrics to create and monitor. All right, I'm going to change one thing about this. Hold on, stop narrating. Okay. All right. I said I was a manufacturer. I'm going to say I'm a business intelligence company. I'm a small generative AI business. I'm going to call it a generative business intelligence company at SaaS and tech companies. Okay. Just going to read this through real quick. I'm going to add a couple more things. They also tend to struggle with pulling metrics from multiple data sources from all their various marketing tools they are using, including Google Analytics, Google Ads, HubSpot, SalesLoft, MailChimp, Looker Studio, and Tableau, period. They don't have and struggle with defining a data dictionary and putting in data best practices. Okay, I have a company in mind as oh, stop please. No more narrating. I actually have a company in mind that is when I'm creating this persona. All right, I think that's enough for now though, but we'll go ahead and generate this and see what GPT has to say about we're prompting it. Okay, so here's the response for the first one, metrics max, and in fact, let's just listen to it. And I'm gonna ask GPT one more thing. I'm gonna have you narrate responses back in the voice and tone of Snoop Dogg. So if you can reproduce this result. Period. All right, good. Now let's read the response.
I got you. Let me break it down like this. We gonna call our persona something smooth like metrics max, representing that data-driven hustle they on. You feel me? Or we could slide with data-driven Dana, keeping it cool for those CMOs out there struggling to wrangle their tools and metrics.
All right, I like data-driven Dana. That's because that just makes me laugh. All right, so I hope you like it, chat. What do you think? Any other thoughts here, Snoop?
Now, which vibe we reading with Ply?
Yeah, definitely Data. Gotta get this thing to be a little smaller. Go over there. Okay. Data-driven Dana. All right, so that's our persona. Let's see. Here we go. So put that as the name. And I'm just going to close my eyes and pick. It's closest to this. And we'll click next. So next prompts are how old are they? What is the highest degree of level school or... All right, so I'm just going to copy this. Let's hear why this step is important.
Collecting demographic information about your buyer persona allows you to paint a clearer, more personal picture of your customer. More specifically, factors such as age and education can help you better position your marketing messaging to ensure it resonates.
All right, so how does that apply to data-driven data?
8. So check it out. Data-driven Dana ain't no rookie in the game. We talking early 40 seconds, seasoned enough to know the ropes, but still fresh with that fire to innovate. You feel me? And education. Dana's rocking at least a bachelor's degree, probably in marketing, business, or data analytics. But let's not stop there. They likely stacked it up with a master's degree or an MBA cause they gotta flex that knowledge in the science and tech world.
Yes,
What's next, boss?
We got Snoop Dogg. Snoop is our business partner. All right, so let's go back. As we heard, Dana is a early 40s, seasoned individual with a bachelor degree. There we go. Definitely seasoned. There we go. Next step. Their business. Why is this important, Snoop?
Want more qualified leads? Knowing details about your buyer persona's business will come in handy when you're building fields for your landing page forms. Factors like industry and company size also help you understand how many hats this person might be wearing on a daily basis or how competitive their market is.
All right, perfect. So let's copy these questions and I'll feed them to our AI and let's see what we get back.
Eight. Let's get Dana's business game locked down. You dig? Industry. Dana's ridden high in SaaS and tech, straight innovating with those $2M plus revenue generating companies. But they also dip their toes in healthcare and finance on the side, keeping their options fresh like a mixtape drop. Size of organization. We talking mid-size to large companies. Apply. Most of them repping 50 to 500 employees, with revenues rolling over $2 million annually. They got the resources but need help putting all that data to work. What's the next move in this persona playlist?
All right, so he said 50 to 500, which is a different range than what's here. So we'll just go with this 200 to 500. Go with the high range on that. All right, so step 4 is the career, and tell me why this matters, Snoop. If you want.
A focus on your buyer persona's career and seniority level will help you determine what makes them successful and what they might be worried about. Use these details to provide content solutions that are catered specifically to them.
All right, good. So we said chief marketing officer, and we did mention about leads generated, but sometimes they're measured as MQLs as well. And let's just say marketing spend. Who do they report to? We're going to say CEO in this case. And I might just roll through these next ones. These ones are the characteristics of their job. So what are their goals or objectives? So let's just say double lead generation in 2 years. What are their biggest challenges? Let's get AI to help us with this one, just to see what it does. Navigating client relationships. Okay. Resources, project management, disorganization, problem solve. Okay, were these options or is it just making stuff up? Oh yeah, these are options. Okay, we'll just pick a couple of these. Oh, and there's ability to add options. Maybe just, we could just finding time to play video games. Our data-driven data just really wants to play video games. What are their job responsibilities? So, here we'd say, coming up with a marketing plan. Maybe they're like leading a team. They're reporting ROI, right? Those might be some of the things that they're doing in this case. And what tools they use? Typically CRM, probably a project management, content management system, absolutely email, employee scheduling software, probably Word and reporting software, business intelligence dashboards. Yep. And how do they prefer to communicate? They want to communicate on Slack, which we'll just do text messaging. Which I don't mean SMS, but or maybe as a prospect before I gotta think of when they're a prospect, they probably are communicating through face to face. Let's do face to face and phone. Kind of old school, right? And then their consumption habits. How do they gain information? Usually I would say like this group is going to be, through their network. There might be associations that they belong to. There could be a couple examples, and they love Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn, Facebook. And here we go. We have our persona, right? So this persona, we could print it, pin it on our wall, right? This is helpful to have, as far as to know who you're targeting, right? And this is also going to help with your lead scoring, because then you can say, well, this is our most ideal target. So if they are a chief marketing officer, give them the full points. If they, if they're in the technology industry, full points, right? Their organization's this size, full points. That way you can elevate and find these more valuable leads first. And this can help with coming up with that. Yeah, take a little hydration break for a second. Hydrate or dehydrate. Okay. That's our ICPs. Let's check out what might be the game plan now. Okay, so our next step is to look at prioritizing lead scoring criteria. And I did note that we're going to use AI to use this, and then to test and refine the model, and to use some live examples, which we did do a couple of live examples. What I'm kind of curious and want to try doing now is just feeding this information into GPT and see if it will like recommend anything based on what we have. So let's we'll do that piece first, and then we'll test and refine. You do a couple more examples, and then I think after that we'll actually take it out to the broader community and look not so much at what the companies are saying about lead scoring, but let's try to find some like lead scoring forums or conversations, public places, right, that we can see where people are talking about lead scoring, and see what kind of best practices, other guides and templates that we could potentially use, and also use our AI buddy to help us along the way. So that will be the next game plan here for a little bit. All right, so let's feed this information to GPT. I just kind of just copied the entire spreadsheet. Examine this lead scoring model that I created in Excel and compare it to the ICP that we just created, and let me know. Like, the goal is to build a better model and to iterate and test so that we get better results on our lead scoring system. Provide any recommendations to optimize on that. All right, perfect. So it looks like because I copied and pasted the marketing analyst information over into GPT, it did correctly identify there was an issue with the model in terms of it says this is a marketing analyst and Dana's a chief marketing officer. What are you doing, Lewis? That doesn't make sense. And so, so I'm glad that it caught that. That's good. And what else do we see? So basically, it just called out each time, like you incorrectly scored this. So I think I'll need to explain to GPT that this was actually an example of another one, and that for the CMO that we created, it would get a perfect score. I'm actually just going to give that direction now, because probably everything else that it created was based off the information that I gave originally, and I don't want it to give recommendations based on its confusion. So we're just going to redo this. The information on what was in this spreadsheet was based on a not good fit prospect, so I'm glad that you called out the discrepancy between this marketing analyst that was in the spreadsheet data I provided and data-driven Dana. Period. You are correct that data-driven Dana would in fact have a perfect score in regards to the demographic and firmographic data. Period. We were simply using the marketing analyst example to show someone who wouldn't be a good fit score, and thus they had a normalized score of 33%. Period. Knowing this now, will you perform the prior action that I requested again? All right. Oh, let's see what does Snoop have to say now?
I got it, boss. Now that I know the marketing analyst was just a not a good fit example, we can refocus on crafting a lead scoring system that gives data-driven Dana a perfect fit score while optimizing for better prospect qualification overall. Let me hit this again and smooth it out for you. Updated recommendations for lead scoring model.
All right, hold on a second. Let's just scan this real quick. We'll make Dana. Yep, Dana scores perfect 100%. That's, I mean, we intended it that way. And so let's look. We got a demographic, and I won't have Snoop read this because it's all bulleted. When I've learned that listening to something with this narrative plugin tool for like lists and things is not really what I'm going for. So job title, Chief Marketing Officer, VP of Marketing, similar, 75 points, right? Lower level roles like Marketing Analyst, 0 to 25. Perfect. So it's starting to actually show the difference between everything. Purchasing authority, industries. Yep, that looks good. Annual revenue, it came up with even like an under 1 million might be a poor fit. And I can see there that the GPT even suggested a negative score for that, which we can certainly do negative scores for these types of models as well. Behavioral scoring, the high intent actions, we can see some positive pieces there. I do see something here that the another concept around lead scoring is sometimes you can have a max score, or you can set a max score. So what I notice is landing page conversion was 50 points, request for callback is 50 points, and then viewed key pages 25, and multi-tool engagement 15. This could all total 140 points if, you know, And you might say, well, we were just talking about the 100-point scale. Why wouldn't we keep it at 100-point scale? And that's okay. The 140 points, we could either normalize it down to 100 points, or we can just set a max points and just say you can only get up to 100 points. So even if you got 140, your max is going to be 100 in this section, and let that be that. There's some low intent actions that are associated here as well, and including like inactivity, which an inactivity penalty is usually something like a time decay, or is known as time decay, and can be something that where you would take points away from your lead score based on no activity. And you could do different things, like you could say if there's been no activity after a week, -5, after 2 weeks, -10, after 3 weeks, -15, after 4 weeks, -50, after 3 months, -100, and you can kind of scale it up that way as well. Usually you would, or you might say like for every month of activity -10%. Something a little more standard like that. The looks like Snoop is just kind of calling out the different negative scoring, poor fit firmographics, low level roles, etc. Normalized scoring, and explains that. Dana will always hit 100%. And okay, good. It says update the Excel lead scoring model with these revised weights and criteria, test new model, monitor lead scores. So let's do that. And in fact, what were the changes? Can you summarize the Excel changes? Will you summarize the Excel changes? Please make it easy for me. ¿Dónde está mi música? Ah, aquí está. All right. Update job. Okay, so it's telling me to update these. All right, perfect. I might update something here just to say like CMO. That says that's going to become 75. And then kind of like other, I guess we'll call it like other marketing, 25. It's best to kind of just like group them. You don't want to get like too specific and granular because it can be difficult to create the criteria for it. So you want to make sure that you don't necessarily want to define like 100 different job titles, especially because job titles can come in lots of different forms. But we would want to be able to set up different types of rules, and so it's easier if we just kind of can bucket them into broader things. Now we say we're going to change this to 75, and I think that was the purchasing authority going to move to 25, I think. That's right. So yes is 25, no is 0. We'll put that in here as well. Yes. Oh. All right, let's see what other changes we're going to do. Firmographics. And let's see if we can just copy this in here. see. Annual revenue. Here's the options for that. Let's see, now this one's going to have more than 100 points. Let's see what happens. And here's number of employees. Oh, I put these ones in the wrong. This one's actually industry. Okay, good. So now this max score is 100, this max score is 125. How that might implicate our spreadsheet here is if I go here, we'll see I'll need to update the max score on the firmographics to be 125 because now it's over 100. This will normalize the score better for us, so that way we can. So then this section is based off this max score, and it will find then the more normalized score on a 100-point scale. So we can see our items are starting to come through. It looks like the only one that maybe didn't was that one. Oh, because I broke the link earlier. All right, let's fix it. Equal that. Okay, there we go. And let's wrap the text. The same thing happened on that song. Towards the end, it just stopped. Very interesting. All right, and did not wrap. There it is. All right, let's see what other suggestions GPT has. And the behavioral tab says increase high intent actions, 50 for the landing page, 50 for the callback, 25 for the viewed key pages, and 15 for multi-tool engagement. So there's, I think it added this one. Add an activity penalty. I wonder if we can generate all this as a table. Ask that. Can you generate these changes as a table? No, it can. Implicit scores now going in. The total skills at 155. We'll have to update that on our total sheet here. We'll just change the max score to 155 on this section. I'm going to clean this up. Looks like our max scores and our items are in here now. Let's grab the negative attributes from GPT. A hidden column in here. What is in here? Oh, it's a notes. Interesting. I was pasting stuff and I was like, why isn't it going in there? It's the good old hidden column trick. All right, here we go. So now we have our negative attributes. Let's see what other changes we had. We have negative firmographic penalties. So let's go ahead and copy those into our spreadsheet. Which is going to go on the firmographics. There's also the notes here. So if the revenue is below 1 million. Oh, we have that here actually. And then irrelevant industry. So actually, you know what? For now, I won't put the negative ones there. Because we should probably keep them separate anyways, like how we have them here where we have positive scores and negative scores. Because it will impact this total score possible. But, okay. Let's see. Actually, you know what? We probably could put it there. Let's just go for time. Oh, let's bring it back. We'll just know that the true total possible is 125. It's not. Because negative points could actually be 0. Alright, here there are negative attributes. What do we set them at? -10 and -25. It's going to remove the negative factor from the definition there, so that way it's its own. All right, what other changes do we have? Oh, we have a negative for the demographic, so a demographic penalty. All right, let's put that in here then. I want all those without purchasing authority. Let's just make a negative one that says, like, demographic. One thing that I've seen used in a common use case might be people that are signing up for resources because they're like in school, or they're using it for like information and training. That could be one example. So we could do a demographic for someone who's like a student, right? And maybe the student is more like applying for a job or internship or something like that. Let's just say that's the case. And so If they're a student, let's say it's at minus 25, right? Actually, let me rethink this example. Because we're a generative BI company that's targeting a SaaS company. So if I had someone that was probably like, it might be job level, another common one. So, and this one would just say is like entry level, right? So like, or like, yeah, we'll just call it entry level, no managers or not managerial. And we'll just say those ones are negative 25. Now let's look at our calculator. And oh, I didn't bring it over automatically. I must have edited the worksheet too much. So we'll just copy it from here. Okay, good. And what else do we have for changes? Total score is basically saying what's the total score, normalized score, which gives the equation. All right, let's just run through these examples again. And now that we've gotten some tweaks and we've used AI to help us with those adjustments, let's see what they actually look like for us now. Hey Deepak, thanks for coming. And the comments appreciated. Okay. All right, so we had data-driven data, right? So data-driven data is a chief marketing officer. So they get all the points. And they have purchasing authority. They get all the points. Are they entry level? No, which is actually a good thing in this case, because they don't lose points in this example. Next is the firmographics. And we did say that Dana is at this more like mid-cap size company, so they are going to get all the points there because that's perfect for us. And it was in the industry is first, so it's industry and then in size, which data-driven Dana is a rock star for both of those. And we're going to say that they are at a, what's the average? Okay, what's revenue for like a 500? Let's find out. What's the typical revenue for a company that has 500 employees? Okay, so that's 200,000 per employee is a general benchmark. At 500 employees, at 100,000 per employee, the revenue would be around 50 million. At 200,000 per employee, it'd be about 100 million. Industry-specific models, revenue per employee might range from 200 to 500,000 at SaaS companies, depending on the growth stage in the business model. So with 500 employees, the revenue could be 100 to 250 million. Looks like it's a little bit less for the healthcare. So if it 500 employees in a healthcare industry company, it might be around 50 to 75. It's quite different. Finance is $250 to $1 million. Wow. All right, anyway, so for a company with 500 employees, 50 million to 100 million is a reasonable range for many industries. All right, so let's go with this SaaS example, and let's just say 100 million. And we'll give it the most points. If for Okay, so perfect for that. They're not under $1 million, and their industry isn't irrelevant for what we're focused on. Perfect. And then if their behaviors matched everything that we had mentioned before, meaning they did all the things perfectly, they went to the landing page, they requested the callback, they looked at the pricing page, they engaged across multiple tool sets. Let's just put yes values here. Eventually this person ends up with the perfect score, you dig? Alright, perfect. So now we got all our scores. And we can scan pretty quickly at the bottom, see their perfect scores. And might be, let's see, where is it getting this score? Oh yeah, we gotta update our denominator here. Do. Oops. Not sure how that happened. There we go. So their normalized score is 100. They're the perfect lead. Now let's run through another example, but I'm going to have AI even help us with this. I'm going to give it the updated score sheet, just copy paste. Great. That was really helpful. I have updated the model and responses, and you can see that our data-driven data has a perfect 100% normalized score, period. I would like for you to provide a lead score for two different contacts. Let's call one that is a marketing team member, entry level, at a automotive company that's generating 4 million and has 20 employees. And also I want you to come up with like a really bad fit client, and provide the responses in a way that I may be able to update our spreadsheet and be able to see all these examples side by side. Where did that all go? Okay, so 2 new contacts, entry-level marketing team member, and a bad fit. Okay, so here is, all right, this is what we're gonna get Snoop back in. Can you provide a narrative in the tone of Snoop Dogg so we can narrate who these personas are while we're reviewing their characteristics that you've already provided? All right, so let's start with data-driven Dana. Snoop, take it away.
Yo, let me introduce you to the queen of metrics herself, data-driven Dana. Dana's the real deal, holding it down as the chief marketing officer. SIS company crushing it with $100 million in revenue and a squad of 500 employees. She got that purchasing authority, making moves and calling shots, you feel me?
Okay, so yeah, he's just recreating who Dana is. Go ahead and take the rest of Dana home. Let's go, Snoop.
Dana's all about them, landing page conversions and callback requests, showing high intent and making sure the team hits them KPIs. She's clicking emails, viewing key pages, and wrangling data from tools like HubSpot, Google Ads, and Tableau like a true boss. 100% normalized score. Baby, she's the perfect fit, top of the charts, and the type of client we dream about.
All right, perfect. So, Snoop, let's pivot over to our entry-level marketing team member that is a okay fit.
Now slide over to the next one. This here's entry-level Eddie, or whatever name fits. My man's a marketing team member, just getting started at an automotive company. Sure, the company's pulling in $4 million in revenue, but with only 20 employees. They ain't really swimming in our lane, you dig?
All right, perfect. And what about the rest of...
Eddie's role is entry level. No big decisions, no real purchasing authority. He clicks an email here and there, maybe browses a pricing page, but ain't no high intent action popping off. His score's sitting at 23, 68%. Not bad, dude, but not the right fit for what we do. Keep it moving, fly.
That's good. I like that Snoop calls it out. He's not a bad dude. Like, this lead scoring is not an issue of morality, whether these people are good or bad. It's just about fit, right? Sometimes it's just not a right fit. Okay, now let's go on to our bad fit client. What would a bad fit client look like, and how might the score look in our system? Take it away, Snoop.
And now, we gotta talk about bad fit Bobby. Bobby's the type we don't even want to see in the pipeline, you feel me? He's a retail assistant working at a small mom and pop shop pulling in $500,000 a year with just 5 employees. That's a big old strikeout right there. Bobby ain't clicking no emails, ain't looking at key pages, and sure as hell ain't macking no callbacks or conversions. This dude's score came out to a 2, 63%, and that's a clear signal for us to say, thanks, but no thanks. Keep it moving, Bobby. This ain't your game, my dude.
That's right. Thanks, but no thanks to bad fit Bobby. You ain't clicking no emails, and you ain't looking at no key pages. So we don't want to score Bobby. Bobby. All right. So that's been super helpful. Right now we have a couple of personas, and we got a sense of who they are. I think that definitely deserves a growth gem of the moment. You know, what can we take away from this? You know, I think it's helpful to come up with at least 3 different versions of your lead score and put them, you know, they actually have them out, printed out, where you could say, you know, here's an example of a perfect fit lead. Here might be an example of someone who's on the fence, someone who might be pretty close, and then someone who's really not a good fit. Once you know those positive personas, those negative personas, you're gonna be able to attract more of what you want and repel more of what you don't want. And so those are gonna be some of the key things that you can get from lead scoring. So that's another growth gem. All right, what's the game plan? We retooled our lead score. We did some additional testing. I also noticed that it produced this really nice table for us, which was really nice, I think, to be able to compare quickly and say, all right, if you're a CMO, you get all the points. So let's get the game plan off here for 1 second. Here's the table. So you can get, you know, if you got a really good title, lots of points. You're entry-level marketing, no. You're a retail assistant, no. Right? Purchasing authority. Data-driven Dana, heck yeah. She's a boss. She's got authority. Your entry-level marketing, your bad fit client, or your retail assistant, purchasing authority. Industry. Data-driven Dana, you know, she wants all that data because guess what? SaaS produces mountains of data, literal mountains of data. And so, yes, this is a perfect fit. Automotive and retail industry, maybe not a great fit. You can catch where I'm heading with this, but this type of comparison allows for teams to be able to see fairly quickly, oh, here's where your score was, here's where your score was, here's where a bad fit score was. And that way you can start to discuss, like, where's the point that you want to disqualify, right? And say, well, is a 23, is this entry-level marketing disqualified? Now, Snoop said no, said it was a bad fit, and the narrative that the AI generated. So we might say, yeah, 23 is too low. We need leads to be at a 40, in order to have a conversation or want to be able to move forward the conversation with something. And then you'll be able to better understand where your deal breakers are, what are the trade-offs you're willing to make in terms of lead scoring. And that's just going to empower your team to make better choices and growing your pipeline and growing the business. Shout out to Deepak for joining the stream. Hey man, appreciate it. Yes, definitely there will be a recording for all those that are watching live or in recording. There is recordings that will be available here, streamed on LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitch. And the YouTube one and LinkedIn ones I think will stay the longest. Twitch is up for like 2 months and then it's gone. So catch it there so you can come back to this material at any point. Oh, and the name of the YouTube is Media Garcia. So here, I'll put the link in chat here. All right, now I think we can go back to our game plan, which we're going to dig into some community resources now as we're continuing to build out our resources and understanding around this. Let's do that. As part of going through these different resources, we're going to be looking at forums and just like what the broader community is saying around this, saying, where is everyone at with lead scoring. Hopefully we'll see some good stuff, some bad stuff in terms of issues, challenges, things that we might be able to solve or further contribute into. And this is all just part of deepening our own knowledge of it and making sure that we're staying up to speed with best practices and what people in the community are doing around lead scoring. All right, that's the game plan, folks. Going to do it live and pull in some forums. Now this is from the HubSpot community, and so from time to time I'll be reading different forums off. I actually probably won't do the reading. Yeah, I always forget to gotta put the music down. So we're going to bring in our HubSpot forums and community sites to go through what the broader community is saying about lead scoring. All right, and here is, initial question. Jonathan Baker 1, 2024. Let's hear the question. each time I change these, and unfortunately introduces themselves. Maybe there's a way for me to turn that option off, but for now I'm just gonna roll with it.
Hi, my name is
someone else. other
Hello,
than Snoop
folks.
Dogg.
I'm looking for some good practices we can implement for lead scoring in HubSpot. What are some effective strategies for setting up and optimizing lead scoring in HubSpot to prioritize and qualify leads effectively for sales teams?
Okay. First response here. Carson Kohler, partner. Lead scoring methods. There's a resource. Let's check it out. Ah, knowledge base. Yes. So this one is, so you link to the knowledge base on HubSpot, which has a lot of super helpful information about lead scoring and how to set it up. So this is going to get into the tactics of, adding criterias, getting rid of criterias, and how that all works. These screenshots are actually what the one of the more the one version of the lead scoring models that they have. They actually have another lead scoring tool now that is available, and so there's one of the future streams will get into that piece a little bit more. All right, what else we got? All right, let's hear about Carson's thoughts on this.
First, I'd recommend deciding on what exactly the lead score should do. Should it be a thermometer of how engaged a contact is intent, an additional piece of information for sales before they reach out to a C contact? Or should it be an overall barrier that contact must surpass before a contact is considered sales qualified?
Hi, my name is Nate. It is crucial to clearly define what you want to do. Lead score properties in HubSpot are a black box that returns a number, so if you're not sure about what you want to measure, this number means very little.
Yeah, great points. As with any sort of feature and any SaaS tool, right, it's really about what's your goal. And so when the question asks just more broadly about what are strategies, a good question to come back with, excellent question, is, well, what's your goal? Because depending on what you're trying to achieve with the score, it's going to mean different things on what you're going to want to build. And we got this example here with active campaign. They said and according to them and their definition here, the goal was to plan future messaging. Okay, it could be. You could definitely use lead scoring for planning future messaging. Nothing wrong with that, right? Salesforce said the goal is, to determine if a lead is worth passing, right? That's another goal, right? And then let's see what's Wiki's kind of implicit goal: to rank prospects, right? So so I've shown you 3 different authoritative sites, and they all have different definitions on what lead scoring is. Is it ranking? Is it prioritizing? Is it planning future messaging? Right? It could be literally anything. So it's objective ranking. I think Oracle probably has my favorite. I forget which tab is the HubSpot tab and its definition, but I'm sure it's really good too. But I think for me, it's it's just ranking, right? At the end of the day, we're just looking to rank to do something. So very, very, I do like the response around just understanding the goal. Okay, we got to find our tab. Running into too many tabs now. Okay. And what do we have here? Let's hear the second bullet point.
If you have a short list of very clear black and white criteria of when a contact is qualified, it is usually better to simply create a workflow that checks those criteria and then passes on a contact. For example, If you want to pass on contact to sales who have a certain job title, company size, and have booked a demo, there isn't any need to create a scoring property. Similarly, there isn't any need to subtract points for competitors, consultants, students, if you could simply exclude competitors from being passed on to sales via exclusion in your workflow or sync list.
Good. Just more context around the importance of understanding your goals and what types of actions you're going to want to take with this lead score. So it's kind of the so what. Like, great, you want a lead score? Cool. So what? Now, what are you going to do with this lead score? And when are you going to do it? Those are all very, very good points. This is a super awesome, thorough post, but I'm going to go ahead and jump to Gaurav with some additional thoughts. Links to a blog, lead scoring instructions. There's some academy lessons here as well. Good. I think it's actually a really good call out around the academy lessons. A lot of this stuff is available in very succinct lesson form. You can either watch my 3-hour, 3-part live stream of a open conscious dump of lead scoring, or you could probably go into like one of these lessons. Actually, I'm not going to pull it up yet, but there is a HubSpot Academy where you can go in and get lessons on all sorts of items, right? It's good too. What else do we have here? Lucilla. Okay, let's read this one.
Well, hello there. My name is Mary. I speak. When it comes to lead scoring, what works best for most clients is the demographics plus intent method, meaning not only using properties like type of contact, company size, industry, etc., all the demographics, but keeping the score live, updating constantly when a contact shows interset, intent, or even subtracting point when it's been a long time since they haven't interacted with your brand. Of course, it can be as extensive as you need, adding events, emails, ads, or stating with something more simple as website visits and form submissions.
Absolutely. I think this calls out that it can be the intent data, the intent method, so demographics plus intent, which I think when we look at our tabs, the demographics was that like explicit data that we went through, and the intent is the behavioral piece, right? So that definitely aligns with what we've already performed here. Great post. And if I don't call your post great, don't take it personally. It's not that it's not great. I'll try to say everyone's great. All right, all the data, all the information in the forums are always just helpful. I mean, people are taking time out of their day to contribute to a free resource. So hey, we have a new question here from Kakarat. Alrighty, what's the question?
Hi. We use HubSpot Marketing Hub, which is integrated with Salesforce CRM. I want to know the best approach to set up the lead scoring model. What are the best practices and HubSpot properties to be considered for setting up the lead scoring model in HubSpot? We have a HubSpot and Salesforce lead statuses property that gets synced. So is it a good practice to consider the lead status property for scoring? Or do I create a custom property in HubSpot? I would like to know the best and most efficient way to set up a lead scoring model. Thanks in advance. Thanks.
All right. So there's a couple of things going on in this particular one. First is they're using HubSpot for Marketing Hub. They're integrated with Salesforce CRM, and they want to know best practice for lead scoring model. And they say that they're using a property called lead status that's getting synced. So they want to know whether that should be used for scoring. And okay, so let's see what some of the responses are. All right, so first one.
A warm welcome to you. My name is... Hi Kakarot. You can create custom score priority and define your own filter and criteria for a lead to be scored higher or lower. The below knowledge article describes the entire process very well.
Okay, and we actually have seen that article. They're mentioning that lead status is typical to track the status of lead and not to score it. And this is from Content Ninja. So great point. So typically what I've seen in setups that include both HubSpot and a Salesforce integration, when we've worked in numerous integrations at Media Garcia between the two platforms, what I've usually seen is we use lead scoring to set up the qualification for when a lead becomes an MQL. And at that point, then it syncs from HubSpot to Salesforce. So that way it becomes the qualification to be included in the integration of that sync. So that way leads that are generated in HubSpot, marketing leads are being generated in HubSpot for marketing teams that are using the tools, and then they nurture them in that platform up until the point that they're ready to be worked on by the sales team. And so the inclusion list, which it defines what can move from HubSpot to Salesforce, becomes part of the handoff of that marketing and sales handoff function. And you oftentimes would use lead scoring to determine when to include that lead to sync over. So that's, and then the lead status, like in this case here, it would be a separate property. So I do agree with that. Let's see what Karsten has to say. I think we used...
Hi, my name is Nate.
Before.
I speak in American English, en français.
Thank you.
In terms of what to include, I'll share some of my thoughts. First, I'd recommend deciding on what exactly the lead score should do. Should it be a thermometer of how engaged a contact is intent, an additional piece of information for sales before they reach out to a C contact? Or should it be an overall barrier that a contact must surpass before a contact is considered sales qualified? It is crucial to clearly define what you want to do. Lead score properties in HubSpot are a black box that returns a number, so if you're not sure about what you want to measure, this number means very little. If you...
Okay. And looks like a very thorough and excellent post in terms of that. Let's see what Lauren Ryan has to say.
Hi, my name is Jessica. I speak in... Hey Kakarot. Scoring is typically a combination of measured intent and quality. So, does this person want to talk to, buy from us, and are they someone that would be a good fit for our product? Similar to Karsten Kohler's suggestion, I'd use indicators like number of page views, specific pages viewed like pricing, forms submitted, etc. for interest, and factors like job title, industry, business size, etc. for fit.
Here's a post my team created diving into HubSpot lead scoring for further ideas. Oh, great. Let's kick off at least this starting paragraph.
It's a
from
great
Poster
problem to
Consulting.
have. You have too many leads for your sales team to reach out to all of them effectively, and your funnels are raking in more every day. But, while it's great that your marketing efforts are paying off, you're not going to get the ROI you're projecting if the lack of bandwidth on the sales side is delaying responses and creating a poor customer experience.
Excellent. And I like this topic too, some lead scoring mistakes to avoid: overvaluing an activity, sure, failing to incorporate both fit and interest, oversimplification, creating too many scores. Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear about that
We
one.
recommend creating one score per stage. For example, a lead score before they've met with sales, an opportunity score after a deal is in the works, and a renewal score showing likelihood to renew.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. That's another goal and another way that scores can be used. You can have multiple scores, and you could be scoring with different purposes and different intents or goals behind it. So like what was shared here, you could have a score for a contact that is a lead and hasn't been worked necessarily maybe by marketing team yet, or being nurtured, and maybe it starts getting nurtured, and so but the intention, the goal is to make it a marketing qualified lead for the sales team, and so that's the goal then. But now this, say that happens and the marketing to sales handoff happens, and now this lead is on the sales team. Well, you might have a different score. Your score for what the goal was to produce an MQL doesn't necessarily apply anymore. It might not make sense for the sales team to have a score that includes all the marketing information. You might instead have a score that looks at more of the sales functions or the sell, because that's the journey, that's the stage in the journey they're in. So you might be looking at a score that includes things like, did they schedule a meeting? Did they attend a meeting? How many demos have they gone to? Did they do a trial? How responsive are they to the emails? Have they gone to an event? Are they invited to an event? How many users do they have, right? There might be different kind of scoring functions that you would have for the sales team. And again, you might even have different scoring functions for someone after a customer. This is very relevant, especially for, SaaS companies that are trying to measure, engagement on their applications. There could be different types of scores that show engagement, and when was the last time they logged into a tool, how many of the features have they used, how many users are using the tool on a daily basis, weekly basis, etc. So those are it's another really good call out to have. All right, great blog post by Coastal Consulting and Lauren Ryan, thank you. This is also another call out here by Michael Herman. Let's give Michael.
Personally, I hate reading, so I just upload every document I get to Speechify and just have it read it back to me. It's super convenient. So yeah, go download Speechify. It actually has my...
Hi, Kakarot. If you'd like to try an alternative method to what Karsten Kohler and Lauren Ryan suggested, you can try to use a HubSpot lead scoring integration that enriches your inbound leads, scores and routes them based on how relevant they are to your business. Good luck!
All right, thank you. So, oh yeah, that's gonna have me go into a thing, so we're not gonna do that quite yet. Here, maybe I can open this up in incognito. Which app? Okay, so what Michael had linked to was a lead scoring tool, so called Qualifier. Let's find it out here. So just to make things even more exciting for all of us, there are, third-party tools. Oh, let me get the URL that do this type of lead scoring as well, like Qualifier. Now, I've never used this tool, so it's not an endorsement or anything, but it was linked in that HubSpot forum, and so that's why I'm bringing it up here. And there are others, including this one, but because it showed up in the forum, I'm going to bring it up here. Now, this one, it said it integrated with HubSpot. Let's check out the video.
Let's see how Qualifier identifies and gets you on a call with your hot leads while they're still hot. Your lead enters their email address. We enrich your lead's information in the background. Next, they're going to answer a few questions to help qualify them. They can enter free text, which will be analyzed with AI, or select from a pre-made up answer. Questions and answers are determined by you, as we'll see in a moment. After responding, our system will analyze and determine if the lead is qualified or not. Only qualified leads will be presented with a calendar to book a meeting. The hotter the lead is, the more options that they'll have to choose from. Unqualified leads will get a "we'll get back to you soon" message or any other custom message you'd like them to see. All of the leads are sent to your CRM along with their qualification status. You'll also find the data enrichment information and all of their form responses. Let's have a look behind the scene. You set up the questions and answers and tell the system what an ideal answer is. And if it's an open text answer, you tell the AI what you're looking for in a response. Based on the lead's form responses and data enrichment information, our system classifies every lead as either a hot lead, regular qualified lead, or an unqualified lead. This enables us to route our hot leads to calendars with enough availability to make sure we connect with them as soon as possible. We offer several routing options to help you get the right lead into the right hands. You can embed Qualifier on your website or invite your leads to schedule a call from our standalone form. So what are you waiting for? Start qualifying today.
All right. That is Qualifier. Let's see. Let's go through a couple more resources here. I think we already read this. Sometimes I've noticed the accepted solutions get duplicated. Okay, so that looks like that was that. So know that there are, native integrations, custom integrations, and I think what I'm taking away, at least from the couple of posts that we looked at in terms of lead scoring, is that it all kind of depends on your goals, right? Scoring is just scoring. It's just we can score anything, right? And so at the end of the day, it's about understanding what you want to score and why you want to score it. We've saw some examples about scoring for to move contacts throughout the journey, essentially, right? I think is a great use case for it, or to understand how to prioritize and how to order, and that can help with planning future messaging, giving your team a sense of priority, and ultimately giving it also a look back in time to say, is the quality of our leads getting better or not, based on historical results. I think we've set a fairly good foundation so far. Now, in our next stream, we're going to be doing a little bit more hands-on tactical activity. Please make sure that you do subscribe to our channels, so that way you get notified about those future streams that are happening. We are streaming across LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch, and so you can subscribe and be notified across those different platforms. Additionally, we also have a nighttime stream that I want to mention. So I'll bring up actually the Meaty Garcia Twitch channel here for a second, just to demonstrate our nighttime stream. 1 second here, folks. This will have we have different nighttime streams where we cast different type of like gaming and AI content. So we're gaming and we're using AI at the same time to help us make better decisions inside their game. And these games are also like business mechanic games, so they're usually based in some type of business. And so the one that I've been playing most recently is this game called TCG Card Shop Simulator. And here I've now got the clip I can share on this. So this is what it looks like when we do our late night business streams. There's of course I'm still here, and this is an example of, we just got our sub goal. Yay, that did happen recently. And then we got our game, and basically this is a game where we're running a card shop, like a trading card shop, and we have to manage. Here you see me managing some inventory and moving things around. There are customers that come in. You can also even visit and interact with me if you are on Twitch. There is a Twitch integration with the game that allows you to visit and interact and talk in the store and that type of stuff, and be either a customer or an employee, actually. So we're working through those details. It's a lot of fun. And we're not just gaming. I mean, that is a big part of it. And as you can see, this is an example of just opening some packs and looking for high value cards like this one. And with those high value cards, we put them out for sale. Like in here, we got to like order product, and there's a few different kind of businessy mechanic pieces. But what we do with all this information is eventually at the end of the day, we start collecting data. So there's always a daily report that comes with our performance. And with that information, we've been updating a spreadsheet where we've been tracking our performance over time. And with that, we'll also use GPT to give it the information that we've been tracking. So here's our profit loss statement, basically, for our business that we've been tracking. And we'll track all the results to our data. And then from time to time, we'll feed that data into Chat GPT. I think in this case we did it more closer to the end of the stream, so I'll try to see if we have it in here. Now with that, we make decisions. We'll actually try different things and experiment in different ways within the business based on the results and based on using AI to help us play the game better and see how we can accelerate our revenue in the game, because that's the whole point. We're on a journey to $1 million of revenue, cash on hand rather, is our goal. Right now we're at about 350,000. So come join the journey. It's a lot of fun. It's a mix of gaming. It's a mix of using AI tools to help us grow and accelerate our revenue. So that's one piece. Another thing I want to mention is we do have an offer for folks who are watching the stream, whether live or recorded, until the end of the first quarter here. We are doing, if you found us because you're on HubSpot or are thinking about using HubSpot, for those who are already on HubSpot, we do offer a weekly HubSpot portal deep dive where we'll look into your system and examine one thing a week and provide you essentially like one report and insight per week. You can go to mediagarcia.com/stream, and I'll put that in chat here. With that, with this link, you're able to request a assessment from us to join our assessment. So this information has more information on what it includes. So far, we've done some recordings about life cycle stages. Now we're getting into our lead scoring piece, and we're going to continue with these topics throughout this whole year and into the future, for that matter. Eventually, we're going to be making master classes on these types of topics. So right now, the streaming is going to be a little bit more longer format, right? It's going to be live. It's going to be kind of created in pieces and through your interaction. So you can come and join these live streams for free, right? But eventually we're going to do a master class with a subscription, of course, and like those are going to be our polished products, based on all the information that we've curated and collected and iterated with industry experts on all these pieces. And so you can join our assessment onboarding here. There's just a form where you have to put only your email and answer one question optionally, and we'll follow up with you on how to get started on weekly HubSpot portal deep dives. And if you're not on HubSpot, then come to mediagarcia.com. If you're looking for a CRM or to use any kind of AI or marketing sales tools to grow your business, and reach out to us on the forums or chat that is on our website. You can also comment, of course, on these videos that we've created. We are definitely monitoring those and interacting with people. So thank you so much for joining our stream here today. We are going to wrap it up and see if anything else I want to follow or mention. So yes, please do share any feedback and additional resources, like, share, follow, subscribe to us across our channels, so that we can continue, so that we know that we're getting traction and resonating with the community, right? And of course, if something didn't resonate with you, feel free to provide us feedback and let us know what we could do to continue to provide more value to you and make a difference. And I look forward to our future streams with you on lead scoring. There will be 2 more segments. The next one's they're both gonna come next week, right? So subscribe to our channels so that way you get the announcement on the dates when they become available. It's been a pleasure to be with you all. Have a great rest of your day.